interested. And then there are these things about her being the next Diana. I'm like, well, if she's going to be the next so-called Diana, I have to really check her out. And that's what I did. And things
But
just
you were
weren't adding
open to.
up.
To her initially, you were.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because I'm okay. Because things had died down, and I was just like, okay, this is a new era. Let's see what she's all about. And things just weren't adding up. I mean, I wanted to support Megan. I really did. As a woman of color, seeing someone like her marry into the royal family, that's a good thing because you're getting diversity. You're getting someone that kind of, like me, at least her mother. And, why not? But then you start seeing things and you start thinking, wait a minute, are there young girls who are persuaded and look up to Meghan like I did with Princess Diana? And I'm watching the way Meghan is behaving and how she's treating the family. And I'm thinking, this is not good. And the reason why, Dan, I'm so committed to this is because, like I mentioned before, I run a charity where I help young people with life skills and thinking, how could a young person fall into the trap? And I look at it as a trap of someone like a Meghan Markle because she's doing all the things I teach the kids not to do. Respect your elders, how to resolve conflict. If you're having conflict in the family, you don't ghost people. You don't act like they don't exist and ignore them. You certainly don't treat the Queen of England the way you did. You don't talk about your family. I mean, they've done all the things that I'm trying to
Yeah.
help young people understand and to not
Not
do.
do. And okay, so you say as a woman of color you were, I guess, interested in Megan because she was too. How similar is your background to hers? Are you mixed race or what's your
Right.
makeup?
My mother is mixed. Well, her father was mixed. So I have white and black, but my parents are both black, but my mom is very light. She actually looks a lot, I guess, whiter than Harry. I mean, she's very white looking in complexion. So, but I have mixed heritage. I have, my son is mixed. My husband is Caucasian. So, I can
So
identify.
there were parallels, P. Dina,
Oh,
right? There were
absolutely,
parallels
absolutely.
between you and Megan.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
and so what was it? What was the turning point? What was the moment where you thought, "Oh, something isn't right here. Something isn't feeling good for me here."
Welcome to CUFast.com, a nationally accredited provider of nursing continuing education.
Well, actually, Dan, it was the day of the wedding when she
Oh,
came in
okay.
that white dress and the veil. I just felt like this was a show. This was a performance. This is a woman who is remarrying. She didn't seem to, and then also how she treated her father. How I felt like she wasn't trying to really accommodate her father to really have that relationship with him to be a part of this. There was no tribute to him for not being able to attend because of the heart attack. That wedding for me was not what it appeared to be. I myself am an actor. I have a lot of things to bring me to a lot of memories that I see in Megan and her as an actress. There's a lot of
So
things
what?
that
So
we
you think she was
do.
acting at her own wedding?
Absolutely.
It was
She
a
was
performance.
acting. It was a performance because she wanted to be that Diana moment. For her, it was, I'm performing, I'm coming to the world. You're getting introduced to me, the great new Diana of the royal family. I mean, if you think about it, if she was really there to marry this man and was a little bit more humble and modest, would she have worn a veil with that long train and that white dress? Wouldn't you have toned it down a little bit to be more in line with this is your second marriage, some say even third? So it just did not add up to me.
Well, yes,
I
remember,
had a
P.
good
Dina, I had
list.
actually reported, and I only got this reporting after the wedding, because before the wedding there was a real lockdown, and people within the royal family really wanted to support Meghan. But it was after the wedding, and I broke the story of Tiara Gate. But one of the lines within that story, and I found it absolutely fascinating, was that the late Queen didn't think that Meghan should wear a veil, because the
Yeah.
late Queen is very traditional, or was very traditional when it came to marriage. And it wasn't that she was opposed to Harry marrying a divorcee, but she believed in the tradition. She didn't think that she should wear a veil on her wedding day. So I guess that was one of the first times that Meghan just completely ignored the advice of a woman that you would think you'd have quite a lot of respect for, right? If you
Right, you
were
would think
marrying
you
into the
would
royal
listen.
family.
Yeah, listen to the queen. I mean, if you really love this man, it's not about the veil, the dress. Do the recommend have just, I guess, mindful of what they're suggesting, or if the queen says that, then adhere to that. Come into the family trying to accommodate the wishes and, what they believe is the right thing to do. It just seemed like she was so entitled to do what she wants to do. And it wasn't about trying to come in with an easy transition into a new family and to make things a little bit more, cohesive and, hums and this is all good. We're doing this. Yes, of course, I'll get rid of the veil. Why not? She wanted to rebel. And I think that whole thing with, I mean, I won't get into all of that, but there was a lot of things, okay, that were a performance for this couple at this wedding.
Do you believe that she was subjected to any racism?
Absolutely not. Because why would she even be allowed to marry Harry if they were racist? If they were racist, do you think you would have even married this man? There is absolutely no doubt in my mind this woman has made that up. Because I always think that, if you are someone that has really experienced racism, you're not going to look at what she said is racist and think that's racist. Okay? Because Black people really do wonder about the things that they said happened around the color of the baby's skin. That is not racism. She wanted conflict, I believe, so that she could have her reasons for wanting to leave. And now she's in California picking up where she left off when she met Harry and came to England. It's just a continuation now with her handbag, her Harry handbag now. He's the accessory to her new life
Yeah.
in California.
So she got
That's
exactly
how I
what she
see it.
wanted.
Absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
my theory is that she realized quite early on, and I say theory, by the way, but remember, this was backed up by so much reporting. I broke so many stories about them. I have a very good idea of what went on. But my theory is she had decided very early on that actually life in the royal family wasn't glamorous enough for her. She hated the size of the cottage at Kensington Palace. She hated the fact that she had to go out and do engagements up and down the country here in the UK, and she wasn't paid for them. She just couldn't believe that. So quite quickly she realized, oh my goodness, I've got to find a way out.
Yes.
What's the narrative that can
What's
get
the
me
narrative?
out? And remember, there were some really critical moments, weren't there, where it was easy for her to blame something on racism, because I never saw any racism. They bent over backwards for this woman, P. Dina. I mean, right to the point where they said, yeah, if you want to keep going and be an actor, you can go and be an actor. They didn't even try
Yeah.
and stop that.
Yeah, she had the choice. A lot of things that Catherine didn't even get to do,
Yeah.
Meghan was allowed to do. And so, for all the people that say that, oh, yeah, they were racist, they're not seeing these little things that add up to how Meghan was treated so much. Was given so much more, I think, grace and acceptance to
Yes,
kind of
leeway.
bend the rules a little bit so that, she could ease into this. And Harry tried to warn her. He said during the interview, I tried to warn you about everything. And if she really wanted to stay, she would have toughed it out. She would have said, okay, these are some setbacks and things I don't quite like. But, this is why I'm here. I knew in advance what this was going to be. And the racism was a way for her to get out and to leave and to blame everyone, because this is a woman that has never really experienced racism. She looks like a white woman, excuse me, but she saw she
Well, yeah,
could get, you
she
know, colored
described herself
people.
as Caucasian when she was going for acting jobs in
Absolutely. She
Hollywood.
never thought of herself as a black woman. She even said people never really treated her like a black woman, the words of Meghan Markle. So how can you, and even to leave after just that, I mean, isn't that the reason why they left? Oh, they weren't supporting us. We left because of the negative headlines. I mean, those are so lame. I'm sorry. That's lame. Really? You're going to give up a life of royalty for that reason? That right there tells me you're faking, you're frauds, you're just perpetrating. This is nonsense. And people need to really truly look at it to understand that they're running a game. And now this whole new sham of them starting another royal tour, going to Colombia now, I think, oh my goodness. It just never ends, like you said. It just never ends.
First, you know, I've only promised to talk to you about products on this show that are actually life changing. This one is a little bit more.
In front of the screen. They're no longer like they used to be. In the beginning, Harry and Meghan were so much more closer in their public viewing when people would see them. You can look at how Harry looks at Meghan, and then you saw how Meghan made that huge sigh when Harry went to speak. You can see that they're just going talk about their speaking points. They're not looking to each other as we've been through some things. We are together as a couple who have had some things that happened to us as a couple that we are really trying to get people to understand. No, they are very much in their own world, and how Harry seems so stone-faced looking at Meghan. There is this unspoken characteristic of language that I see when I watch that. Even when they did the one video where they were talking to the winners of this award they were giving out, they had done like a 1 minute video. They did not look at each other not one time during that whole video when they were talking to the people that had won this award. I forget what it was for, but you can see how they are living in their own individual moment and trying to create this narrative to speak on, because they need to have something to talk about. They need to have a purpose to elevate their profile as this commercial enterprise. They're trying to make money. They're trying to get out and have people look at them, and so that they can heighten who they are on this global stage. They're no longer together as a couple in true meaning of what they're talking about, just by the way they're looking at each other, and Meghan's big sigh looking at Harry.
This was always the risk, though, Pidina, and this is what's so frustrating for the old friends of Harry, and I speak to a lot of them, and they just say, oh my goodness, we warned him. We warned him. The moment that you allow your children to leave the country, you're putting yourself at great risk.
Yes.
Because he's effectively trapped there.
He's trapped.
And he seems to be trapped there without any real friends, without any real purpose. I mean, look, I'm not one of these people that feels sad or sorry for Harry. I'm not. He he wanted this, he brought it on himself, but it's certainly a pathetic way for it to all end up.
Yeah, his children are going to be forever in America. They will never come back to the United Kingdom. I mean, why can't they come now just with Harry? I mean, he's the father, right? So she doesn't even allow him to take the children to go to the United Kingdom as a married couple. Harry has given up so much. He will either have to spend the rest of his life in terms of till the kids are 18 in America, or he's going to have to just travel back and forth by himself, where he will risk, I believe, even losing custody of the children. But there are different laws when you're royalty. I don't know how it works. I just know for myself, I could have lost my child had I left the country, being forced to stay. I mean, he does not even have a clue what is getting ready to happen to him. It was the worst time of my life, and I know what he's getting ready to go through, because when he divorces, when they end up separated or whatever, he is going to be going through a lot. And with his mental illness, his substance abuse, his depression, all the things that he had prior to having children, he's just compounded that with this marriage and these children. He is a sitting duck in America with Meghan right now, because she is pulling the strings to his life, and he is royalty. I think about that all the time. This is a man who belongs in the United Kingdom for the simple fact that he is the son of the king. He does not have any business in America, in California. His place is not. Not there. And if Meghan truly loved this man, she would have seen that. My husband belongs in the United Kingdom with his family. His family are the heads of the country. He's this rogue royal living now this isolated, secluded life in America. It seems so absurd to me that he's even there. And that to me tells me a lot about Meghan and her feelings for Harry, that she even thought that was a good idea to bring your husband a prince.
Totally bizarre, absurd is the word. How worried do they need to be about a second Trump presidency?
I think they need to be very worried about that. Honestly, I don't do politics, but I see a lot, especially where I live in the States. I see a lot of support for Trump. I think that that's going to be hard for Harry. Another thing, mentioning problems for him, that is, I do see that as a big problem.
Do you think Trump would ever actually go through with deporting them, though, or is it one of those threats?
I think people would expect it. I think that he would have to act on it. He'd have to do something. I mean, I don't know how that would work, but yeah, he would, I think he could do it. Trump's done many things that are not conventional,
And is there an appetite for Meghan entering politics in America? Lots of discussion that she's going to endorse Kamala Harris, and if Kamala Harris wins, then that could be her sort of entry point, which she's been looking for into Democratic politics.
I think that it's definitely got me looking with the side eye. Like, I'm looking like, okay, let me see what this is all about. I think if Meghan played her cards right, it is a slight possibility, but I think it just depends on how much people are going to get on board to support her that are in politics. I know a lot of Hollywood people have not been so quick to support Meghan. She's actually lost a lot of support within the Hollywood community. But I think if they told her things, what to do, and she listened, because Meghan's not good at listening to advice, she could have some kind of way into some kind of politics, especially in California. But I don't think
that's a terrifying thought.
I know it is terrifying, but you just never can say never, really.
It would be fun, though. It would be fun to watch. She would be monstered. She would be completely monstered, because
I would talk about that and have so much fun at it.
Yeah, because in politics, you're not mollycoddled. There's not people who are giving into all of your diva demands. Actually,
right, yes.
it's a tough world. Oh, but look, P. Dina, the great news is that we will follow it all via your brilliant channel, which I really recommend people subscribe to on YouTube. I've absolutely loved having you on Outspoken. Please do come back soon. Thank you so much for watching.